You are Murking Maingili, Natnyong Yuri, Jacinta Price. I was born in Darwin in the Northern Territory. I have crocodile dreaming from the top end, Irkapai, Chikapanga, but I grew up in Alice Springs. My family are Warlpiri, predominantly from the community of Yuendamu, where my mum's from. My dad is from Newcastle, New South Wales. He's a white fella, and it's interesting growing up in a household with two different cultures, but recognising what we have in common was always really important for us as a family. And while I might be growing up with Warlpiri culture and modern Australian culture, I belong to this world, just like all other human beings belong to this world, like all other Australians belong to Australia. They're the values that I was brought up with. For me and Colin, as husband and wife, and our boys, and being a blended family, we're a family. Yeah, we come from two different backgrounds, but ultimately it's love that's brought us together, that's ensured that we've been able to bring our boys up in a household that's cared for them, that's loved them. They are now young men creating their own lives, and we couldn't be any prouder than what we are as parents, knowing that they are good men, and there's much for them to offer the world. And it's not because of their ethnicity, but it's because they're decent human beings, and we feel very proud that we've been able to provide the love to give them that.
People question my love for Jacinta because she's a Conservative politician, which is ridiculous, because they're not looking at the reason why we're together. Well, it's love. We are one. I will not argue and debate her lived experience, which she's seen and heard with her own ears and eyes. I can't argue that. You've got to live and walk and talk the talk.
Growing up in a place like Alice Springs, a lot of my family experienced violence, experienced substance abuse, alcoholism, and those sorts of things. I grew up in a culture understanding that violence was very much accepted. I spent a lot of time in the town camps where my family lived, and I saw violence firsthand, and I often had to rescue young family members throughout my life, to help put them in better situations or comfort them myself. And I just got to a point in my life where I said, I don't want to see any more suffering. I don't want to see kids suffering in an environment like that. I don't want to see women suffering or men suffering in that sort of environment. So I was very much encouraged by my community to throw my hat in the ring to have a go on Alice Springs Town Council. The wonderful part about that was actually being sworn in by my own mother, who was Minister for Local Government at the time, and of the understanding that it doesn't matter what background you come from. As a human being, if you have the drive and the passion, you can become what it is that you want to become, and this country certainly provides that opportunity for you. My mother could be born under a tree if her first language is not English, and she can grow up to become a Minister of the Crown. Well, then I could certainly step up and be a councillor in my community, that's for sure. I'm obliged to fight for some of our most vulnerable people, those that are in remote communities, those whose first language is not English. That is what I have done, and that is what I will continue to do to improve the lives of some of our most marginalised Australians. That's what keeps me going. I might be a survivor of domestic violence myself. I might have experienced adversity at some point in my life. That's not entirely who I am. I am who I am because of the things that I've achieved in my life, because I can watch my children now becoming young men and establishing themselves in the world and being confident in who they are. And that is all that I want to aim for in supporting others to feel that way, to be confident human beings who can stand on their own 2 feet and create their own destiny. What's important to me is that we don't divide ourselves along the lines of race in this country. I don't want to see my family divided along the lines of race, because we are a family of human beings, and that's the bottom line.
I never understood love properly until I came to Australia, because Australia allowed me to become something new. It gave me the opportunity to look at me, and it showed me that I could be something better. Now, when we build a home, we have this cornerstone that's there, and that takes and holds everything up. I feel that what Australia gave me, that cornerstone that holds up that thing that I love dearly, is being chipped away at. And it scares me that my home might fall apart, and anybody else coming to Australia will feel that they are not as equal and will not have the same opportunities that I had. And that's not fair. I believe in that cornerstone. I believe in that constant, and I believe in the local fella, because I believe in my kids. And I see my kids grow up to be men who believe in themselves, who will one day be fathers, who will one day teach their kids, who will then teach their kids. And our family is a blended thing. Our family is what Australia is. Australia is that thing where it doesn't matter where you're from on this planet. You can stand in any country in the world and you can say, you could be Aussie, mate. You could be Aussie. I'm quite anxious about how my career will go after me being here saying these things, but I'm here because I love my family. And a line going through my family, I won't stand for that. I won't stand for that.
I was hiding in the dark, looking out for my heart, living in a world full of fear.
I had my head in the clouds, but my feet on the ground, not sure if I was ready to feel this way.
Lay down your arms
I will lay me down
and let me in.
I will let you in.
We've broken all the rules, now it's time to live again.
Later this year, politicians will be asking us to vote on a major change to our constitution. They want to establish a so-called voice to Parliament. This is a really big deal. The constitution is the rule book for governing the country, and they want the rules to change. This is a massive change, and it will mean that some Australians are treated differently based on the colour of their skin. I'll be voting no, because this will not unite us, this will divide us.
It's here where I belong.
Authorised by Matthew Sheehan, Advance Australia, Canberra.